paid by the guy whose plant, I was gonna build a subdividing plant for construction of ice. When I got there, I started working in between, and many didn't like country. So we moved, we were in a hotel, we moved out into the country, and they paid the house, the company paid the house. We actually lived, outside of the food, I bought food, and it was cheap as hell. You can't believe, you can buy a five gallon wine, Argentine wine, for $2.
We got $2 Chuck.
Right, Chuck? We do.
Not into becoming drunk. But I stayed down there, and they offered me a job to stay in Argentina. And I can't believe it, but your mother didn't like Argentina, didn't like Spanish, and all that. So I had to give it up and go back to work at Merck. Go back, and it was a difficult time. They offered me a job up in Canada, straight out the Canadian operator. And she didn't like it. I went up there, and I think you remember, we moved up there for 6 months just to get used to it. But she didn't like Canada either. And I said, you know, I'm not going to have a career at Merck. She turned that down. So then I moved back to Westfield and continued at Merck. But I was finished at Merck. There was nothing I could do with it. I couldn't make a career at Merck. And I knew I wanted to make a career, and I couldn't make it work. I knew I had to move. And it got worse at Merck because she made life difficult for these two girls. And funny thing, it was funny, they wanted this, I smoked at the time. And one day they wanted a cigarette. So I said, fine. So I took a cigarette and gave them a piece. That was the end of them. They finished. They never smoked since then. So that was one way of curing it. But it was difficult to live. And we had a problem with Connie, my wife. In fact, that she was RH negative, and I was RH positive. Didn't affect you too. But when he came, there was a little problem.
Big problem.
But he survived, so he finally came along. And there were difficulties in the family. So you can imagine. He come along. I couldn't stand it. I said, because look, I figured I have a career at Merck. I've got to move. So I tried as much as I could to live it. And you girls don't know this, but in spite of the fact that I was positive, she was negative. She got me to, again, get her pregnant. I didn't want any part of it. She didn't. I never talked to her doctor, etc. And a still child was born. I don't know if you know about it. And we would call her Nancy. Back then, the name.
Yeah, I knew that.
And I think it was the last straw for them. It was impossible for me. So I moved finally out. By that time I was going out. I moved out to my father's house. And I knew they couldn't wait to get out of the house. She was having a hard time, he was having a hard time. And I finally tried to get a divorce. And I accepted a job at Wyeth. I came down to Wyeth, and I found out they were going to name me the vice president in charge of production.
He was the youngest vice president they ever had.
So I said, okay, I'll accept the job, but I want to go see exactly what the problem is. I want my own people, because I was a great believer in hiring people who were smarter than me in their particular. I mean, the guy, I didn't know
That's
anything
smart to do.
about it. Yeah, I mean, what the hell? I wanted people that knew more than I did in their specialty. So, what happened? I'll give you an incident. I went to my boss, I said, I'd like to talk to a couple of your people. So, I went to Rome, and I came back. After spending 2 or 3 weeks there, and so my boss at that time, I said, Joe, he said, what do you think of this guy in Rome? The guy he had discontinued drinking. In fact, I used to order wine, and he'd tell me which wine to drink, and I got to, he didn't go on. So I said, Fred, he was my boss, I said, we got the best tourist guide in Rome. If you want that, that's what we had. So then I went to Argentina. I spent 2 weeks there. And the guy, treated me like a king. I came back, and he said, what do you think of Villafana? I said, we got the best golfer in Argentina. You want that? That's what we have. I said, but we have to make changes. I said, what I want to go around and visit the other place and establish my people, fire people, and move people in. That's what I did for the next 2 years. I traveled around the world, and you were with me. And I came back, and there was nothing I could do. And by that time, it was impossible with your mother. You wanted out, you would try it out. And I continued on. I think you, by that time, you would move, you wanted to marry him. You wanted.
Did you go ask for her hand?
Yeah.
Oh, she asked my mom.
Yes. And she had. Another guy. So I said, this is impossible. And I just, well, you got married, I came to your wedding, and it was impossible. You know that. It was
I wasn't allowed to come. I
It was very awkward.
It was awkward.
Now, then, we got divorced. And in 19,
What? I don't know where we're at.
Bounce
back and forth a little bit.
Can we ask for a halftime?
63, I joined.
I agree.
I gotta go to the men's room. Please stop, I'll leave and come back, but I.
Can we have a halftime?
Take a break.
Intermission.
Take a break first.
Yeah, I gotta go to the men's room.
Yeah, let's-
You continue from
I
watching.
didn't do it all day.
Cold.
No, I know, it's